Alrighty then, back once again for another reaction. This time it's Once Upon a Time, Season 3, Episode 18. The first reaction of 2023. Which is quite annoying to me because, you know what? Season 3 was meant to have been done and dusted in the final week of December. I was planning on, get all the Christmas hustle and bustle out of the way, get all the Christmas period out of the way, save this little bit of free time at the end of the month just to round off Once Upon a Time Season 3, which was one of my New Year's resolutions for 2022. I was so close to doing it, and you know what threw it off? In that final week, my poor sweet mother got struck down very ill, and I was taking care of her like I always do when she gets that way, and I ended up missing out on my perfect time to do something. So December ended up being a barren month. I explained this to the patrons and stuff like that, but it was so annoying, and but we're here, we're in the new year, we're in January now. I've just had my birthday, that's just passed by. It was on Sunday the 15th. My birthday is always exactly 3 weeks after Christmas, so I always know when it is. But yeah, if I could sum up my feelings in a single word, it'd be annoyed. Not at anyone, certainly not at my poor mother, but I just mean at the universe. I'm annoyed at the universe, because the stars were aligned for me to finish Once Upon a Time Season 3 in 2022, but then I had a meteor crash into my planet's surface, and so the sky didn't look so pretty anymore. But that's neither here nor there anymore. We have episode 18 to jump into today. The night's still young. I could be checking out 19, possibly 20. Depends how much of a roll I get on. Because obviously there's always a bit of rust that accumulates between these recordings, because it's often such a big gap. But I am excited. We have got a little bit of lead in to the final 2 episodes. We've got 3 episodes and then the final 2. So hopefully we're gonna make a good run of it. I definitely know I won't be getting the finale done today. I'll see if I can make time for it at the very earliest Thursday, but no promises on that. But I do intend to finish all of Season 3 by the end of this week at most, especially after setting a precedent by starting the ball off now. Speaking of which, last episode, episode 17, really good hook episode. I really enjoyed everything about it, especially the huge dramatic twist with Zelina tricking him and then cursing him so that he can... she's basically saying, kiss Emma and seal away her powers, or I'm just going to start killing. And obviously, it's been a while since I watched, so obviously all the details aren't super vivid, but I definitely remember that because Hook's one of my favourite characters. So seeing the emotional anguish on his face in that episode, it's not something that's going to leave your brain, is it? So, yeah. I don't have any predictions, obviously, because I don't ever have episode titles, because I like to be as blind as possible. Because, if it says, oh, hey, Rip Van Winkle comes to town, oh, okay, this is an episode about him, yeah, a lot of the time, they try and be clever with oh, the character that this episode is about, or how about the very bluntly titled Ariel? I would, by not having the title, I didn't see it coming. So that's how I like to approach all episodes. I don't want to know what they're going to be about beforehand. The titles definitely give it away a lot of the time. So... So as a result, I don't really have much in the way of prediction. All I know is it's going to be another fantastic episode of Once Upon a Time, a show that has become very close to my heart, and I'm not even halfway through it. That blows my mind, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, no more stalling. This is season 3. I am Luffyiscool. We are continuing our journey. Let's go. Oh my gosh, that made me happy right there at the end. Like, you know, as I just realized that's a common thread now, isn't it? Characters finally letting go of the past and focusing on their future. We saw it literally spelled out with Regina and Regina and Mary Margaret. We had them literally spell that out in that scene together. Like, let's move forward. Seeing them form a friendship again, that's so sweet. Like I said, favourite scene of the episode, my goodness. But then you also have it with how at the end of the previous episode, Emma said how she was done with the past. She was going to look forward when she spoke to Hook. And we've had it with Rumpel. He was like, I'm not going to take any, like, promise on my son or whatever. He made a meaningful sacrifice, and I'm going to make it count towards what's right now. Like, no, I won't go along with what you say. Like, and now, as a result of all of this mood of, like, not focusing on the past, Regina is done being afraid of heartbreaks and everything like that, and she has actually gone for it and started new love. I love the way this episode has emphasized the push forward that all of these characters are made and have made and are freshly making. Everybody is now forward facing. The threat of Zelena is coming in. And, you know, this is very neatly forming the spearhead towards the end of the season. I can definitely see that. The characters are getting into good headspaces. They're progressing in their own ways. They're making personal improvements and stuff, but the threat is also getting bigger. And this is what I love to see. Like I said, I was very clever from Rumpel at the end. He fooled me. I thought, you know, with how obsessed over his son he used to be, that this would be something that reeled him in. But then when he started loving up on her, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this because of Belle. But I did have a thought in the back of my head that maybe he was up to something. And yes, he was trying to make a stealthy grab for that dagger while being touchy-feely. And Zelena getting all hot and bothered, like she didn't expect that at first. That was kind of amusing. Like, oh, and that left her a little bit rattled. Like, she was shook. Oh. But yeah, as I said before, I missed Zelena's presence as a villain. So commanding, especially, you know, when she pops in and out like, haha! Like, as I say, definitely reminds me of early series Rumpel in how he used to do that a lot. Yeah, very good stuff. I like that Hook has basically admitted to Emma that something's going on. He's not done the whole, oh no, everything's fine, it's fine. He has actually said that there's something going on, but that it's a whole thing that needs explaining at a more convenient time, aka when there's not a threat looming over his head that literally means he can't say what's going on. He is being pressured by Zelena to kiss Emma and take her powers away, and he's got to grapple with that. So every time Emma made a remark about him being a little off, I'm like, yeah, yeah, I wonder why. But oh my goodness, as I said, my biggest takeaway from this episode, aside from how awesome and high octane all that ghost stuff became, that was awesome. That was fit to be one of my favourite sections because of how exciting that all was, and something a bit different for this show to be like, oh, we're literally starring in Paranormal Activity. But I have to say, in terms of that raw connection that Once Upon a Time is known for, and the emotions it elicits in a viewer, I'm going to find it hard to top that scene. Both conversations combined, really. The two separate conversation scenes where both characters of Mary Margaret and Regina said some really long overdue things to each other, got lots of stuff off their chest, and even came to the realization that Snow's mother wasn't perfect. Like, she did some shit, and it's like, yeah, we have to admit it's all complicated. Life isn't black and white. Everybody is made up of shades of grey, and this show has done a really good job of exploring that concept and how no one is truly beyond redemption and that kind of thing. It boggles my mind that Regina has gone from what we saw in season 1 and early season 2 all the way to what she is now. That sensitive, like, understanding conversation with the person who killed her mother, by the way. Like, I know that over time Regina has realised how much of an awful person Cora was, and now her death was nothing but a favour to Regina, in all honesty. I still... Wow. It was much like how I marvelled at Regina and Emma sharing a laugh in the buggy. Like, when they were doing the stakeout. Like, and I was like, can you imagine season 1 dynamic of these two turning into this? Like, now I'm starting to remember when Regina was looking at Mary Margaret through the bars of the jail. Back when Mary Margaret didn't remember who she was. She was like, whatever I did to you, I'm so sorry. Apology not accepted. Like, she was gleefully... and going all the way to what we saw in this episode, and it all makes sense. If you watch the series from front to back, it all feels natural, it feels earned. To go from such a radical point to such a radical point, what a home run by Once Upon a Time in terms of characterization. My goodness. And I have to again reiterate how wonderful I think it is that Rumpel is matured to the point that he wouldn't just jump on the first opportunity to go back and fix things with his son from the beginning and stuff like that. No, he's more mature than that. He's like, no, the current me realizes that he made his own sacrifice and stuff like that. And, he wants to honor his son. Like, going back on everything would undo all of everything that his son went through and the life he lived. And yeah, it would be a huge disservice. But, Selena needing all this stuff to do a time travel thing was a mind-boggling reveal as well. Like, I didn't think that that's the thing that we were going to go with. But then that's how they've explained how eccentric the ingredients list is. The Wizard of Oz references with all of is literally to do a time thing. That's what time spells require. Okay. That's a neat way of explaining the nicheness of the ingredients. Like, it's because people barely try this because you're not really meant to do it. Like, or it's either too difficult or big consequences happen because you're messing with time. But so that makes me wonder if that time spell is successfully getting used in the finale, and if it might set up some kind of weird status quo change that we'll have to launch into season 4 with. But that's a long way off from now. There's still 4 episodes for me to get through. Yeah. There's 19, 20, 21, and 22. Yeah, fantastic return to Once Upon a Time. I enjoy that because this is coming back after a while. This episode had a nice slow start, nice slow build up, but then in the second half, we shifted the gear stick and we moved. It certainly ramped up. I certainly had a hell of a good time, and I'm certainly looking forward to the next episode. And I will see you guys next time.